Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com! Here we are, it's Friday. It's been a long week, to be honest. Phil, hasn't it been a long week?
Yeah.
It hasn't felt long. And you're off to Berlin soon?
Yeah.
I'm not, though.
No.
But, man, like, in my head, it's been one day ahead of, do you know what I mean? So I've woken up on, like, Wednesday and been like, it's Thursday today, and then I realise. And then just the crushing reality hits. But thankfully, it's finally Friday, and it's time for all of this week's wrestling news from both WWE and just elsewhere in the world of wrestling as well. And then, of course, my Wrestler of the Week at the end. Stay tuned for that one because it's the first time ever on Wrestler of the Week. But for now, let's leave all that for the end of the video. I'm Jack from WhatCulture.com, and you're watching The Fast Count. First, let's start off with all of this week's WWE news. Now, this is tricky because Dave Meltzer's reported this. It's in the Observer, but I don't want to do spoilies. Don't want to do spoilers for you people if you don't want to hear them. So if you don't want to know about something which could potentially affect the result of one of the results of Great Balls of Fire, and then maybe one of the results of SummerSlam and going forwards into the summer months and beyond, and maybe even all the way to WrestleMania, please skip ahead until you see the next picture up there, because, ready? Skip ahead now if you're not. Meltzer's reported that plans have changed for SummerSlam. It's no longer going to be Strowman versus Reigns. It's going to be Reigns versus Lesnar. Ooh. Now this is big news that started a lot of speculation. If it is indeed true, of course, it's only one source, and as you know, as like revered a source as Meltzer is, he's not always 100% right. Plans could change back. Anything could happen, but this would seem to imply that at Great Balls of Fire, Reigns is going to win against Strowman and then go on to face the winner of Joe versus Lesnar, i.e. Lesnar. But at WrestleMania 33, we heard that it was going to be Lesnar versus Reigns there. So it's kind of divided opinion in the office. I know for a fact that Plumpy thinks they're going to do Reigns versus Lesnar at both SummerSlam and at WrestleMania as well. They'll have a double header of matches spread out. I personally think that they'll have it at SummerSlam, but then a different main event at Mania, maybe. We've already seen Lesnar versus Reigns, of course, in the main event of WrestleMania 31. There's rumours that it could be Reigns versus Cena at WrestleMania, and that would be huge, and I'd enjoy that until Reigns inevitably pinned Cena and became the most reviled man in the history of wrestling, because he'd have had 3 successive wins over... No, help me. Triple H, yeah. Undertaker, and then Cena. That was the campest thing I've ever done. Wait. Got it. That's the news. That's point one. On to point 2. Phil, what match stipulation is back on our screen soon?
The Punjabi.
The Punjabi prison match is back! Oh my god, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, not the Bryan brothers, they have decided on SmackDown to give the choice of stipulation for Jinder Mahal's defense against Randy Orton at Battleground to Jinder, and he chose, despite being Canadian, Canadian-Indian, he chose the Punjabi prison match in honor of his hero, the Great Khali. We joked about this online for like weeks before it actually happened. Simon Miller did a video called Why WWE Shouldn't Bring the Punjabi Prison Match Back. We all went, oh, it's only so long until the Punjabi Prison Match comes back. No, they're doing it. They're doing the Punjabi Prison Match. On the plus side, this is probably set to be the best Punjabi Prison Match ever, but on the minus side, it's the 3rd one ever, and the other 2 were some of the worst matches in WWE history. So there's no way this can be good. If it's good, wow, they've pulled it out of the bag. But it can't be. The stipulation's too bad, surely. And finally, some breaking news. No, don't. Finally, some breaking news from WWE Tokyo. They're over there at the minute doing a show, and just before we came to the studio to record, we heard that Kairi Hojo appeared on screen and announced her participation in the upcoming Mae Young Classic, but under a different name. She's called, I think, Kairi Sane now, or Sane, or something like that. I'd guess Sane. I've only seen the spelling of it. But that's very exciting news. She's meant to be one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, one of the leading lights of the Stardom promotion in Japan, and throws that lovely elbow drop, and I hope they let her do it. But rumour is, of course, that they've taken it off her because Bayley does an elbow drop as well. But maybe just in the Mae Young Classic they'll let her do it, and they'll all see how great it is, and then they'll let her keep it. if she appears on the roster in future. In other news as well, one of the other women confirmed to be appearing in the tournament is none other than, well, she's now called Piper Nevin, but you may know her as Viper. She wrestles, of course, for ICW, WCPW. She appeared on ITV's New Year's Eve World of Sport, comeback episode. One of the most dedicated, hardworking women's wrestlers in the UK scene. It's really exciting to see her get a chance to show what she can do. Did that light just flicker?
Yeah.
Right. And now it's time for all the news from the world of wrestling. Ew! There's some big shows coming up this weekend. No, mate, seriously. It's Slammiversary on Sunday. Slammiversary, which, I love Impact Wrestling so much. I love their pay-per-views because sometimes something goes horribly wrong. It's Slammiversary on Sunday. Do you want to know the big matches? Yeah, you do! Alberto El Patron versus Bobby Lashley in a title unification match between the Impact Wrestling Championship and the GFW Championship. GFW looks like it's going to cease to exist because Jarrett has somehow got himself back in the Impact Wrestling fold. What a guy, what a businessman. That match, of course, is a match that El Patron has promised will be 1,000 times better than Lesnar versus Joe. 1,000 times. Elsewhere on the card, and the match that I'm personally looking forward to the most because me and Jeremy Borash once had a bit of an argument on Twitter and he probably doesn't have a clue who I am, but it's Jeremy Borash and Joseph Park versus Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner, which in a few years will probably be in the running for Dave Meltzer's Tag Team of the Year. Scott Steiner and Josh Matthews, what a duo that is. But in fairness, I reckon the babyfaces are going to win because this seems all set up for Joseph Parks to rediscover his old self as Abyss. He'll come out with Janice, the big board with the nails in, and his, Kane/Mankind attire. But I just kind of want to see Steiner get his hands on Borash as well. I've just remembered wrestling's not actually real, so he's probably not going to hurt him. So Borash will be fine, I guess.
Probably.
Oh, well. Elsewhere on the card, we've got Low-Key versus Sonjay Dutt in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the X Division Championship. And I think Rosemary and Sienna are having a similar sort of unification match between their two women's titles, like what Lashley and El Patron are doing. Oh, and elsewhere on the card as well, Moose is teaming up with an American football player to take on, I think, Eli Drake and Chris Masters, or Chris Adonis as he's now known. What a pretty stacked card. Don't smirk. It's a good card.
Stacked?
It's quite stacked. No, it is. No, it is. No, it is. It's actually quite good. Tomorrow as well, on Saturday, we will see another big show, New Japan's G1 special from Long Beach, California. Of course, that is being headlined by the big match, Cody Rhodes versus Kazuchika Okada. It's big because it's world champion versus world champion, and we rarely see these sort of matches these days, unless you count Slammiversary's unification matches as world champ. We've got Cody Rhodes, the Ring of Honor champion, versus Kazuchika Okada, the IWGP champion, the top title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not a lot of people expecting Cody to win this one. Quite a few people online thinking that he will and kind of booking mad situations, but most people seem to think this is going to be Okada's to win. And it could be one of the best matches of Cody's career because Okada is that good that when he's paired up against another good worker like Cody, just amazing things. He's kind of like Shawn Michaels in that way. Elsewhere on the card as well, there'll be the first stages of a tournament to crown the new IWGP United States champion. I think there's going to be a night 2 where the final is held, but that bracket is filled with not just American guys, there's Japanese guys in there, Omega's in there, and he's of course Canadian. Looks like it should be a stacked card. Do you think this one's stacked?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Less sarcasm in your voice this time, isn't there?
Yeah.
Cool. And finally, just sticking with New Japan very quickly, in case you missed it earlier this week, the G1 Climax brackets were announced, and the biggest, most exciting news is that Okada and Omega are in the same bracket. We are going to see Omega Okada 3 before the end of the year, quite soon actually, in August. Another exciting matchup from those bracket announcements is at some point down the line, we'll get Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Fans of the Cruiserweight Classic will know that that's the final that everyone wanted before both men went out in the semis, and instead we got TJ Perkins versus Grand Metalik. Still a great match, but everyone really wanted that Zack versus Ibushi match instead. And now it's time for my Wrestler of the Week. My wrestler of the week this week is Nikki Cross for that wonderful last woman standing match on NXT against Asuka for the Women's Championship. Nikki lost the match after a really kind of scary spot to close it, where they did a superplex off a ladder through the announce table. It was like carnage. Asuka sort of stumbled to her feet before the 10 count. Nikki didn't. She just lay there and kind of sort of sadistically laughed while Asuka celebrated with the belt. It was really disturbing. This match will probably be seen as Nikki Cross's kind of coming out party in WWE. It's the first match where we've really seen what she can do, not only in terms of her character stuff, which is always great, but as a worker as well. She was really good all the way through. Asuka, of course, was brilliant as well, but this week the spotlight is on Nikki Cross, and it's well deserved as well. So that's all for this week on the Fast Count. Let us know what you thought of everything in the comments section below. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. He's been Phil /Hobo Joe behind the camera.
Bye.
And we'll see you soon.
Friday, July 7th. In Manchester, it's the Japanese qualifier of the Pro Wrestling World Cup. It is going to be a phenomenal night. Two of the best young wrestlers in the world, Kyle O'Reilly versus Marty Scurll. Also featuring Rampage versus Tomohiro Ishii in what promises to be an absolutely titanic brawl. The Swords of Essex put their tag championships on the line against former ROH and IWGP champions War Machine. And the qualifier itself, the stacked Japanese bracket. In the first round of the tournament, we will see Kushida versus Sho Tanaka, Bushi versus Tiger Mask, Takahashi versus Yohei Komatsu, and Jushin Thunder Liger versus Funky Weapon Taguchi. Get your tickets at ProWrestlingWorldCup.com.